We are very proud of our economic impact that our company makes in the state we serve, and that certainly extends to Delaware, the first state. Aside from the significant investment necessary to open this fantastic new workplace for hundreds of Delaware residents, Comcast invests more than $90 million in payroll benefits and training for our Delaware workforce. In fact, in 2018 alone, our company generated more than $261 million in direct and indirect economic activity here in Delaware. We are equally proud of our community impact. Since 2011, we have donated more than $13 million in cash and in-kind contributions to Delaware nonprofits and in scholarships, including $30,000 awarded just this summer to our Delaware graduating high school students in our Leaders and Achievers Scholarship grants. And last April, Comcast employees and our partners volunteered more than 5,000 hours through numerous Comcast Cares Day projects here in Delaware. And perhaps most significantly, and my passion project, we have connected more than 48,000 low-income Delaware residents to high-speed internet through the Internet Essentials program. This is our low-cost internet program that provides this vital service to low-income families. So that is all just to say that we are here and dedicated to being part of this state, the first state, and making a difference through our presence. In this case, this big, beautiful building wasn't enough to impress that upon you. And so now I would like to introduce Jim Samaha, Senior Vice President of the Freedom Region, to talk more about why we are here today. Let's welcome Jim.
Good morning, everybody. You know, I can't tell you how exciting it is to be here. I remember maybe about 2 years ago when we first started talking about building this facility, and to see what we were actually able to accomplish over the last 2 years it's really impressive, and this is a day I've been looking forward to for a really, really long time. You know, when I come to work in the morning and I put my little card key on the card reader and the light turns from red to green, you know, my mission that day is to make customer experience the best it can possibly be in our region, and I know that is the mission for the company, to make customer experience our best products. We've got all sorts of cool products, X1 and Xfinity Mobile and all sorts of other things, but they don't mean nearly as much if customers don't want to do business with us, if they don't trust doing business with us, and that is our mission here, and I can't think of any better way to provide a great customer experience than to start with providing a great employee experience, and that's what this center is all about. We've got the best tools for our employees here. We've got obviously a bright, cheerful environment for them to work in. We've cared for their comfort and their well-being, and those of you going on a tour will see some of those things. And our goal was to really make our employees feel valued to work here. And when I come here and I see the smiles on everybody's faces, I think we've done a pretty good job. So for the past 12 years, we've operated 2 different major facilities here in in Newcastle County. One of which you may know, the kind of drab facility that we had on Route 13 for the past 19 years. I see some people smiling and nodding, and I've driven by that facility a lot. And one of my goals was when it was time to make a change, for the 2 major facilities that we had here, we wanted to provide the best environment we possibly could. And we had lots of different options, but really at the center of that decision was the decision to stay here in Newcastle County. We've got a large base of employees here. We have a good workforce to recruit from, and we've got a great customer base here. So I'm really proud that we were able to double down on Newcastle County and construct this great center. It's about 150,000 square feet, and we've got about 800 employees that work here. Most of them, about 700 or so, came from the 2 facilities that I mentioned, and the total is about 800. And we serve mostly the region that I'm responsible for, which is Northern Delaware, Greater Philadelphia, and New Jersey, with the employees here. We do have a network monitoring center here that monitors our network all the way down from Virginia up to Maine. And they not only try and get problems fixed when something breaks, but they also try and find problems before anyone at home finds that that might be a problem for them. Fix it before it becomes a problem. And there's 2 things I really like about this center that I wanted to mention. One is the opportunity for collaboration. When we try and improve the customer experience, the more our employees work together, the better off the customer experience is going to be. And one example that I think of a lot is we have a center here, a group of employees that take calls from people who want to become customers. And we also have a group of employees here who take calls from customers in the first 90 days. We call that the onboarding period. So what a great opportunity for them to work together to figure out how can we make that onboarding process smooth from the first time the customer ever calls in. And the second thing I really like is the opportunities for career development. Whenever we have a new hire class, I, along with the rest of the leadership team, do a Q&A with our new hires. And one of the things I always mention is, Comcast is a great place to work. We invest a lot in our employees, and I really hope that they think of this not as a job, but as a career. And one element of having this kind of big facility gives great career opportunities. So let's say you work in that inbound sales call center that I talked about just a minute ago. You might say, you know what, I want to explore opportunities working in our XOC, which is our network monitoring center. You can go job shadow very easily and learn if that's a good career path for you. So it's part of how we provide a great employee experience. So when we found this building, I mentioned 2 years ago, it was really a diamond in the rough. I really think of it as a diamond now. It's a beautiful place. It looks a lot different now than it did a couple of years ago. We've got some great amenities in the building, from desks that raise and lower so employees can sit or stand, whatever their preference is. We've got a great fitness center, a cafeteria, a Starbucks coffee bar, believe it or not. And we also have a nice view out back with a patio with a walking path around the pond. It's really a nice environment to work in. And we also built sustainability into the building. A lot of the elements of this building, whether it's the floor you're standing on right now or some of the ceiling tiles or the carpets, use recycled materials. We've got this technology called sunlight or daylight harvesting, where when the sun shines in brightly through the window, we've got sensors that sense that, and they'll dim the lights a little bit to save energy. So we've got some really cool sustainability features built into the building. A lot of high-tech support for our employees and the tools that they can use to do their jobs more efficiently. So this was a big, big investment for us, and I think it's really going to pay dividends for our employees, which ultimately is going to pay dividends for our customers. So just again, truly excited to have this center here. Wanted to welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. And now I think, Stephanie, we're going to hear from some of our special guests. So thank you very much.
So now we're going to hear from someone who needs no introduction. But when I asked him how he wanted to be introduced today, he offered up short and loud and some other words. I said, I'm not quite sure that's an appropriate introduction for a United States Senator, but you know him from his humility, his humor, and his passion for Delaware. Please welcome Senator Chris Coons.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Jim. Thank you to Stephanie. Thank you to everybody here who's a Comcast employee. How many folks here are Comcast customers? So we've got a little bit of growth opportunity here, but the last time I was at a Comcast training center, a friend of mine, David Cohen, was demonstrating to me this brand new, really exciting technology where you could take your controller and talk into it and it would go find what you were looking for. And I tried it a couple of times and I put it down and I thought, do I really need that? I can't go a day without using that at home. Am I right? Am I right, Congresswoman? So one of the remarkable things about Comcast, just off the top I'm going to say, is that you continue to innovate. Comcast, which has been known to many of us in the greater Philadelphia region for a long time, has gradually become one of the leading, one of the largest, one of the most innovative media, data, communications companies in our country and arguably in our world. And as we are making a transition to 5G and the Internet of Things, you will see more and more innovation and relevance out of these services that you may not right now be able to imagine exactly what it's going to mean for our workplaces, for our homes, for our schools, for the future. But I'll tell you, if you think you've seen a lot of change in the last 20 years in data and communications, you have no idea what's about to come. And Comcast is going to absolutely be at the forefront of delivering those innovations and changes. Part of why you've chosen to grow and invest and stay here in Delaware is because you've got such great representatives. So could we have another round of applause to Ed Oshinsky, our state representative, Brian Townsend, the state senator, and Matt Meyer, the county executive, for having the kind of responsive local environment that says we're going to get that road paved on time so you can get open, so you can employ more people in Delaware. We've got 1,100 employees in Delaware, and I visited both of the former sites that are consolidating into here. And yes, thank you for significantly upgrading the experience. Let's just leave it at that. This is a remarkable and an impressive upgrade. And the amount of money you're investing in our community, the number of people you're growing here, and the long-term investment you're making are all reassuring to me. Let me close with two thoughts. When I was county executive, we partnered with Comcast for one of your Comcast Cares days and did a remarkable service project. You have for a long time now been a fantastic corporate citizen here in Newcastle County. You give back over and over and over. We are grateful for high quality jobs, we are grateful for good customer service, and we are grateful for the great way you are a good corporate citizen. In my office, I have 40 people who work with me. We have 5 people who do nothing but customer service, day in and day out. We deal with healthcare, we deal with immigration, we deal with veterans benefits, we deal with Social Security, because the single largest entity on earth is the federal government, and they don't always get everything right. Shocker, I know. We do training and support and pull through and ownership training around our constituent service. What you're doing here is training and investing in folks who can be the absolute best at customer service. And I'll tell you from the folks I represent, we are grateful for your investment in Delaware and for the opportunity to serve you better and to make sure we make the case for growing more in Delaware. Now, if you'll tolerate it, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, our Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, who knows a thing or two about labor, having served in our state government under 2 administrations, knows a thing or two about personnel, about workforce, about growing our economy, has worked around the world, has been an innovator and an author, but as our Congresswoman was recently recognized by her caucus and moved to the Energy and Commerce Committee, which frankly sets the groundwork for a lot of what is coming. She is one of the real leaders in Congress on the future of work and is here along with me to welcome Comcast to its new home.
Thank you, Senator Coons. You know, I have to start off by saying something about our senator. He gave that, yeah, we started with a funny introduction about him, but the real truth is that this is a person who in this time in our country where sometimes we feel divided, he is a person who unites us. And I feel so proud, and I know we all do, to have him as our representative. And so I want to just take a minute to, not all the funny terms, but the seriousness of which you care about our country, you care about our state, and you care about the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please show some love for our Senator, Chris Coons. And as the senator said, he knows I get excited and geeked out by stuff like this. Like, this is an exciting day. And it's not just the balloons that make it exciting, but it's the people of Comcast. And so as I got up to speak, I thought of 2 things. One is to just say thank you. Thank you so much for the investment and the belief in us as a state. The leadership that you see around this room, as the senator mentioned, to get things done. I mean, that's a hallmark of Delaware. I think that's one of the things that makes us special. And it's a testament to that spirit of collaboration and cooperation and working together that you have decided to invest in us. So Jim and Stephanie and the whole team, we say thank you for making your presence known here.
Because as our senator said, customer service is key. When I was Secretary of Labor, we had these 4 C's that we focused on. Customer service. Because that's what makes us tick. That's what makes you grow. That's what makes you succeed. That's you living your mission. Customer service. Another is connectivity. How are we connected? As he said, this is the time for the future. It is happening now. Artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, machine learning. These things are happening today. And even how you work, it's happening today. The other thing is communication. I was talking to the ambassadors that are over here. Raise your hand, ambassadors. Woo woo. And one of the things that they talked about is the fact that now they are under one roof. People who just used to email each other can actually walk up and say, hey, can you help me with this? Or, hey, thanks for what you did for me in helping this customer. Communication. And the last was culture. You have to have a culture that is about serving. And that's really what this is about. It's about building a strong economy. It's about connecting to our customers. And it's about how we treat each other. Even small details of this building, as you will see, really connect. Like the wall up there that is a plant wall. But I think it acts as a sound barrier. Because now, in this new day and age, we have open floor plans and open places and spaces to work. They're being innovative about how they work. Even to have a nursing station so that a mom can, in private, be respected. Which respect is one of the core values of this company. It is really about the culture as well, because it transcends. We didn't have a 5th C, but if we did, it would be like you. Cares.